What's going on, everybody? This is Steve here with Gate City Sports Channel. The sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Guys, how's everyone doing, man? It's been a while. Glad to be back, guys. I see R. Anthony, Mir Slat, Pasquale. What's good, guys? How y'all doing, man? So today's topic, guys. Sorry, I know I started probably just a second or two early. What's up, Philly Fan D? What's going on, Jonathan? Today's topic, man, I want to talk about the contract situations. Larry Phillips, what's good, my guy? So I'm hearing some things get reported, and I don't know that I agree with the narrative. So the narrative being the Eagles freed up $16 million, right? And that $16 million is supposedly supposed to be a move, right? That's supposed to be perpetrated or done in order, right, to have money for other guys. And I want to talk about what that means and where I think the fault lies with some of the logic here. So to begin with, guys, let's just take it up from the very start here, because I quoted a number and you guys are probably wondering right from the start, like, where'd I get the number? What's up, B More Philly Indy? What's good, Charles? How you doing, buddy? What's good, Romy One? So the figure, I'm just going to go real quickly where I got the figure from, guys. The figure comes from the $9,061,000 that Derrick Barnett restructured. And then also the $6,986,000. I'm sorry. Let me re-quote that figure, guys. The $7,925,000 that I'm supposing Lane Johnson restructured. So the theory being here is, guys, is that we're restructuring this money to get guys under contract with extensions. Okay. Or we all know the other one, which is that we may be reworking this money to trade for a veteran quarterback or a top 12 elite, top third of the league caliber quarterback. All right. Let me just start off with the Deshaun Watson stuff, guys. I don't know if they're going to trade for Deshaun Watson. I can't tell you that, guys. I have no clue. I'm just going to tell you there are challenges for trading for a guy like Deshaun Watson past 2022. Okay. When you get to 2022, guys, we're only slated to have $3 million of available cap space. And Deshaun Watson's base salary is $35 million in 2022. So while his base salary in 2021 is completely affordable for a top 12 quarterback, minus and avoiding all the legal stuff, guys. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a cop. I don't know the situation, guys. I don't want to dive into that. I don't want to talk about something I have no clue about. But I can say the money side, when you look at that $35 million and the fact that we only have 46 guys under contract for 2022. And that includes the full 90-man roster. So the 90-man roster that we have in camp right now, less than half of them are under contract for 2022. Let that sink in. It seems very unlikely that we would trade for Deshaun Watson, but nobody can say for sure, right? There's always the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. I don't know. But I want to focus on the other side of this today. I don't really want to do the Deshaun Watson thing, guys. I want to talk about the idea of getting guys under contract, right? Extending guys. And I want to go through the list of some of these 46 players that are up. So what's up, Cody Kleinfeld? What's going on, Big Play Slay? Snapback Jug, what's good, my guy? Johnny Mo, what's up? How's everybody doing, guys? Eagles Uncensored, what's going on, man? So what I want to do is I want to talk about, I gave you guys the $16 million. So $16,986. So $16,986,000, was created by basically restructuring the contracts of Derrick Barnett and Lane Johnson. Some of you guys might be really quick to say, yeah, Gate, I don't understand the math, though, man. Can you walk us through that? Because when I look at over the cap, it says the Eagles only have $15,683,231 worth of available space. What you have to remember is that what they're doing is they're taking the base salary, guys. So they take the base salary of a player and they convert it into some kind of a bonus money. In this situation, they convert it into a signing bonus. The players get paid right away. And then you can as the Eagles, you can prorate, meaning you can divide it up over several years. So the reason you go from $16.9 million to only $15.6 being available is that some of that $16.9 is still on the 2021 contract, right? It's just, it gets labeled as like a restructured bonus. But really and honestly, the players already receive that money. That's not what it is. So that's why you have a little bit of a difference there, just to kind of start this conversation off. But what I really want to get into, guys, is this. What's up, Richie MC? What's going on, guys? Jock Talk, I see you, guy. I want to get into the fact of we're talking extensions. And a lot of people are saying, like, well, you free the money up in 2021. So that way, like you can get guys under extensions and then you keep creating more cap space. Yes and no. When you're dealing with a veteran and you extend them, you normally get an immediate cap savings, right? So if we extended Lane Johnson or we extended Derrick Barnett, we probably would have had an initial cap savings, right? But that's not the case when you're talking about guys on rookie contracts normally. There are some exceptions like first-round picks that are like top 10 picks. Like you probably could create some cap savings when you extend them. But for most guys, you're talking about, base salaries that might be $1 million. Like I think Dallas Goedert's is just over $1 million. I think when you look at like Jordan Mailata, it's under $1 million. When you look at Avonte Maddox, it's probably right at $1 million or under $1 million. So, I mean, it's not enough money. There's just there's no extra savings to gain from that. So honestly, when you extend them, it's the opposite. You're not creating a cap savings with first year contract extensions that are not like a top 10 pick. You're normally going to add money. Like you're going to take away money from your salary cap. So you take a guy like Derrick Barnett, you take a guy like Lane Johnson. What I'm theorizing is that if it's not a move for, one of the big name quarterbacks, it's probably a move to get guys, extended. And let me go through the list real quick, and I'll go into the particulars of the contract, and I'll put the link in here, guys. And some of y'all want to come on, we can do that, guys. I'll try to put the link in here for everybody to come on and talk for a little bit. So here's the first year contract guys. All right. So there's 6 guys that are first year contract guys that have to basically be extended. These are pretty big names, guys. Dallas Goedert, Avonte Maddox, Josh Sweat, Derrick Barnett, Jordan Mailata, and then Matt Pryor's not so much a big name, but Matt Pryor is having a decent camp so far. So those are your guys that are first year contract guys that are either drafted in 2017 or 2018. Past that, we have a lot of undrafted rookie free agents / young guys that we traded for. So these are guys that either were not drafted or did not start their careers through the draft with the Eagles, but nonetheless, they're coming up on contracts. This is a huge, huge list of guys. So just stick with me. I'm going to read them out, guys. All right. Hassan Ridgeway, LaRaven Clark, Boston Scott, Greg Ward Jr., Craig James, Alex Singleton, Ross Pierschbacher, Travis Fulgham, Jason Kroom, Raequan Williams, Sua Apeta, Luke Juriga, Michael Jacquet, Graylin Arnold, Jannard Avery, TJ Edwards, Nate Herbig, Kerryon Johnson, and Michael Walker. I would classify under that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19 guys. Add the 6 guys I listed before, and we're already, we're at 25 players right there. And then the last group of guys, and like there's some guys I'm not even going to mention just because like not all these dudes are going to be on the roster. We all know that, but there's also guys like they're not even consideration for a roster spot. I'm just not going to list them. We had the veteran guys, right? These are guys that have been in the league for a little while, although Nick Mullins is arguable because he was kind of a first-year contract guy, but he kind of got cut by the 49ers. I can get the argument of putting Nick Mullins in the list I just listed. Don't get me wrong, I get it, guys, but Nick Mullins, Joe Flacco, Richard Rodgers, T.Y. McGill, Jordan Howard, Ryan Kerrigan, Anthony Harris, Rodney McLeod, Eric Wilson, and then Steven Nelson. So that's an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. That's 35 guys. 35 guys. Not all 35 of them are going to make the roster, but let's be real. At least 50% of them are. That's a huge percentage, guys. We're talking over 15 players. Easily that we're heading into with only a $3 million cap space for 2022. And we have to figure some things out, man. There are some things that we can talk about in terms of the salary cap, guys. So, to state the obvious here, we will probably see a 15% optimistic 20% increase in the revenue from this year's cap space to next year for what the league gives you. The reason that happens, guys, is because of TV revenue and things like that. It basically, it kind of coincides as that increases. The calorie space is supposed to increase as well, that the league mandates and allows. So that part is true, but you're not going to go from 3 million to like 30 on that. Well, that would be great if we did. I'm not going to say you don't, but that would be an incredible measure to have happen. It's unlikely to happen, I guess, is probably the best way of saying that. When you look at this, guys, $3 million, all these guys that we have to find a way of finally getting under contract here. I think part of the reason they did this is the fact that some of these contracts are going to cost you in 2021. Like, more than likely, if you rework Dallas Goedert, it's going to cost you in 2021. You're going to add money to that in 2021. If you rework Josh Sweat or Derrick Barnett, obviously Derrick Barnett being one of the guys that created the cap space, that may or may not be the case here, guys. We'll see. He might be an end of the season kind of guy. Jordan Mailata, if you were to rework him, right? Avonte Maddox. I mean, depending on what they think of some of these players, guys. That's where it comes here, man. Howie Roseman, what's good, man? I love the username. I'm a huge Phillies fan. I'm a 4-for-4 Philly fan. All these guys, when you look at it, guys, it makes sense to rework the deal. Now, there's a lot to look at this. Number one, teams don't want to operate with only $3 to $5 million worth of cap space for a year, because if anything happens, you're up the creek without the paddle to find a player to replace. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, that definitely makes it kind of suspicious and kind of hard to operate for the year. But at the same time, guys, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you're going to want to increase this. You're going to get guys under contract. But just some real quick numbers, because I heard a lot of talk about Derrick Barnett's contract. I want to note something. I get why people are confused about Derrick Barnett. Derrick Barnett's contract expires after this year. He has dummy years added to his contract, guys. So to start off with the basics of Derrick Barnett, here's how it works, guys. He signed a 4-year, $12,850,772 contract with Philadelphia Eagles when he was drafted. $7,486,016 was in a signing bonus, and that he was fully guaranteed the $12.8 million. All right. Now, you guys are probably asking the next logical question, which is, Gate, how does 50-year options work? You must be a first-round draft pick to begin with. And the way it works is that the way they come up with the money is that it's an average of 3rd through the 25th salaries at your position group. So they take the top 2 are excluded, but you take the 3rd highest paid player through the 25th highest paid player at a position, and you average it, and then that becomes the 50-year options salary. So for Derrick Barnett, it was $10,051,000. All right. You might be asking, how much of that did he restructure? He restructured $9,061,000. How do I know that? How do I know that they did $9,061,000 over 4 years, 4 dummy years? I know this by looking at basically the restructure bonus and calculating it out. His restructure bonus was $1,812,200. They did it over 4 dummy years, with a 5th year being this year. Okay. So you take that, you multiply it out, guys, you get the $9,061,000, and then you add in his $990,000 base salary, and you come away with $10,051,000. Let me share the screen, guys, because it's a little easier just to show you the physical data than me just talk and you take my word for it. Let me actually physically show you guys this through sharing the screen. And guys, it won't take you long to understand the math here. You'll get it real quickly, because it's really, once you see it, it's kind of easy to understand it. So I'm going to pull up Derrick Barnett's right here, guys. I'm going to share the screen with you. So come down here where it says 2021. It's kind of the dark colored one. Here, I'll highlight it for you. All right. And you can see he's at 990,000. So we know he went from 10,051,000. So you kind of take that figure, guys, you subtract it, you know how much he restructured. And then you can see here where it says restructured, right? The 1.82, you go down, add that up, guys, you get your 9 million. All right. Your 9,061,000. All right. Here's the confusing part that was tricking everybody, which is if you come down here, you see he has 7,248, right? The 7,248,800, right? So $7,248,800. So people were looking at this and saying, crap, he's under contract already for 2022. No, he's not. If there is no base salary, you are not under contract. Okay. So how do they get to 7,248? You take the 2.8022 and you subtract it from the 10,051 and you get 72.48. This is what's left over, minusing his base salary. Okay. Minusing the option bonus you've already paid him, the restructured bonus. So once he's freed up, if he doesn't receive any kind of contract, basically you're going to have to pay him the remaining the remaining extension money here, the signing bonus. So some of you guys might be asking, why is that? That doesn't make any sense, Gate. Why do they have to pay that $7 million? It's really not hard to figure out, guys. Like, once you see it, guys, it's definitely easy to quite understand why this is happening. The reason you have to pay that, guys, is because while the player has received his money, so once you put it in a signing bonus, the player gets the money right away. Right away, he gets that $10 million, okay? But the Eagles, for salary cap purposes, were able to prorate it and divide it up over 4 years. So this year and an additional 4 years. Since you've already paid this year's, you owe the league that remaining 4 years of salary money you didn't pay, signing bonus money that you haven't paid yet to the league. So you got to pay it back. So that's kind of how that works, guys. All right, y'all. I'll go through. I'll read some comments, guys, and then you know what I'm saying? We'll go on. I'll put up the feed. You guys can come in and ask some questions. We can talk a little bit. I can go until it gets kind of dark, guys, and then about an hour or so, and I got to log off, guys. I'm not joking when I say I got chickens. I got chickens. I got to put them away and lock them in the coop. I live out in the cut, guys, by North Carolina A&T and Greensboro. I don't know what to tell you. All right, guys. So let me pull up some, man. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Watson, laugh out loud. What's up, Johnny Mo? How you doing, buddy? Jock Talk, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good, bro. All right, so Snapback Jug says, Steve, what's up, my bro? I'm scared. I want Watson. It doesn't mean we're not going to get Watson. I'm just laying out the hurdles to make such an accusation. Sorry, accusation and acquisition. They're very similar. But it's hard. It's a difficult hurdle to get through, guys. I mean, there's a lot of money, things that got to be taken care of first. Where there's a will, there's always a way. Just keep that in mind, guys. What's up, Richie MC? Richie MC says, hey, Steve, how are you? I go for in-depth thoughts within the NFL. I appreciate you, Richie. So then Big Play Slay had me on his channel the other day, guys. Go check it out, man. He said, do you think he gets traded before the season begins, at the trade deadline, or at the end of the season, Steve? Derrick Barnett, I doubt it. I mean, maybe if he's just hands down beaten by Josh Sweat and Eagles just they want to move on from this and they want to get some kind of draft compensation back, it's possible. But you're not really saving any money because you put it in a signing bonus. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing that team's going to be required to pay is the base salary. So you should have done that before you did, the restructure. Once you restructured it, you basically said you wanted to work with the player. So I would say it's unlikely, but never say never. You know what I'm saying? Like crazier things have happened. Snapback Jug said, don't forget about Wilson. I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan, guys. I'm an NC State alum, just like Simone Stanley is. But he's another one that's going to cost a lot of money, guys. Ken said, Coach, I love your statistical analysis. I appreciate you, man. Philly Monty said, what's up, Gay City? I think Watson might become an Eagle. We'll see, man. I think there's some hurdles, man. I think there's some hurdles to that, financially. Like I said, guys, if there's a will, there's always a way. NFC East B said, I'm late. Hi, Steven. NFL teams like to have 15 to 20 million available at the beginning of the season for trades, free agencies, and other unforeseen expenses. That's true. That's very true. I don't know if it's all the way to that level of money, but you're right. They definitely want 10 to 12 million. I agree. Ooh. Philly Monty said, do you think we have a top defense this year? Maybe. I don't know, man. It's hard to say, man. I think the secondary is better than we thought originally. I think the defensive line is going to be very good. I have no clue what to make of these linebackers yet, guys. I mean, we haven't even had Singleton practicing yet. He should be back tomorrow. So we'll see, guys. Johnny Mo said, Sweat, Mulata, Fulgham, Singleton, and Goddard are top priority right now, in my opinion. I don't believe in Dillard. You shouldn't believe in him. He hasn't given us much to believe in yet. I answered Howie's, yeah, man, I'm a Phillies fan, man. Howie said, the restructures will certainly be interesting. I'm hiring you to join my front office staff. Let me guess. I'm the guy that's going to catch all the shade. Oh, here we go. My God, boys for life. What up, Eagle fans? Y'all getting ready to go 3-14? I think we're going to be better than that. Boys for life. Boys for life, man. I got your email address. You gave it to me in that one live stream. I'm going to hit you up, man. We need to collab before the season starts, man. I know you guys just had your first preseason game. We're about to play ours here in the next week or so. So we'll have to collab, man. Oof. Philly Monty said, what's up, Gate? Do you think if we get Watson, we go to the Super Bowl in the next 2 years? I think this year would be your best probability because I think next year's would be a very tight financial situation with him on the team. It would be really hard to sign free agents to improve your roster. We would have to expend a certain amount of draft capital just to get him here. So it'd be hard to replace guys that you can't sign through free agency through the draft because you're lessening the amount of top 100 picks you would have. And then on top of that, it would be difficult to get some of the guys we want under contract that, to extend extensions basically. So I mean, all that, it's tough, man. Like it's really tough to predict that stuff, man. Beyond the Eagles, is Baker going to get Josh Allen money? And is Allen, unlike Wentz, going to be able to cover up his team flaws? He's got a pretty good receiving core around him, to be honest. I don't know if Baker's going to get that kind of money, but it just depends, man. It depends on how much the Browns like him and how well he does this year. I mean, I thought that they used the running game to cover up a lot of Baker's, inabilities and better play action passer than he is an on-time scheduled thrower. So, it's kind of hard to say. What's up, Nate? How you doing, buddy? Vic 3, what's good, my guy? Hey, Gate, hope you're doing well. How do you feel about trading or keeping Diller? What's Johnny Mo? So the thing is it takes two. We have to have another interested party to do that. I don't know that we have another interested party to make the trade. We might have to take a much lower offer for him. We're not going to get probably a top 100 pick for Andre Dillard at this point. His camp hasn't been good enough for that. I mean, if there's a major injury, maybe you get more than you think you'll get, but it sucks, man. It kind of is what it is with Dillard at this point, unfortunately. He's a shorter arm guy that doesn't have enough strength to anchor. It's kind of a tough situation here. Mr. Wing popping in said, your thoughts about Jalen will do well for his rookie year. Also, how do we know Watson wants to be here? Trade clause. We don't know, Mr. Wing. I mean, I would think at this point he's probably going to take wherever it'll take him just because of the situation. So he just probably wants a new start. I mean, I don't think Philly would be the apprehension, but I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation. Do I think Jalen will do well for his rookie season? I like the system around him. I think we're beginning to develop the playmakers. I think Jalen, it might be rough in the beginning. He may not be, a top 20 quarterback to start the season off, but I think he's going to get there. I think by season's end, I have faith that he's honestly going to be a top 20 quarterback. I know that's not saying much, but you're also talking about a rookie quarterback. So, I mean, I know you can say, well, he's not really a rookie. He played last year. Last year was so hard to judge on that stuff, man. It's kind of tough, man. Philly, the podcast. What's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy? After a long thought and consideration, my answer on Watson is, please, God, no. It's always something in Philly, man. It's always something in Philly. Always. There's never a day off in Philadelphia, guys. Never. Why does Goodell or Vincent not talked about? Hang on, sorry. Why has Goodell or Vincent not talked about the possibility of a suspension for Watson? I think they have ruled that they're not going to make any action at this time. I mean, I don't know if that means in a later date, but I think at this time there's not going to be any action from the NFL. What's up, dudes? What's good, Sonic? How you doing, buddy? I'm old enough to remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Souls Beyond Souls said 6-11. Our defense is not good. We'll see, man. I think the defense is better than people think. I just don't know how to classify that. Better than people think is a very subjective statement. Depends on what people think. But from what I'm hearing from the national media, I think our defense is a lot better than what they're saying. Do I think it's a top 10 defense? No. Do I think it's a top half of the league? Possibly. Top 15 to 18 range, I think is a possibility. I think it just depends on how good the secondary turns out. And do we have any answers at all at linebacker? I think it's the bigger question marks right now. I think next year is a much larger concern for me for the defense because there's a lot of those one-year contracts on the defensive side of the ball. Eagles, a lock week 1. Nate, I don't know if it's a lock, man. I wouldn't go as far as a lock, but I think it's our best opportunity to quickly get a win. I think Atlanta's an opportunity for a win. If you get Watson, you're basically throwing away 2 second-round picks in a row, JJ and Hurts. If you give a bum like JJ 2 seasons to show something, you at least owe Hurts this season. I certainly understand that perspective, man. I get it, Jonathan. I get that perspective that it would be odd that we kept JJ around, but the whole thing would look really bad. I agree. The whole thing would look very, very bad. I agree. Steve, is Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson on the road to Canton, Ohio? Tough to say, man. Lane possibly, man, but it's hard, man, because so many injuries, man. There's just so many injuries to Lane's later, career and Brandon Brooks. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how their career ends out, man. They're still, Lane's older, but he's not that old. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still got. Johnny Mo said, yeah, probably a 6-rounder. That's what I think too. Souls Beyond Soul said he should move to right tackle. That was a disaster the first time, but he's going to have to learn to be. He's going to have to learn. He's going to have to learn to be a swing tackle if he's going to stick on the roster. NFCSP said, bring some of those fresh eggs to the Panthers tailgate, my friend. I got some in the incubator right now, man. Not eggs for eating, eggs for hatching. So we'll see. We'll see, man. Jersey boy, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Heard some news about KJ Raid on Shake's channel. What you hear, man? What happened? I want to know. I didn't catch it. Ken said, Coach, I haven't heard a word about the new kid drafted on the Alabama O-line. Will he be ready to play? Is he in camp playing? I like this kid. If he's healthy. I heard earlier he was pumping iron. I don't think he's healthy, and I don't think we're probably going to see him in camp, Ken. I think sometime early in the season, possibly, but you have until like the 31st, and then you got to designate him. He's got to either go on the PUP list or he's got to go on IR. So, or you got to activate him. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see come the 31st. Those first-round picks should be taken in the draft, man. I hear you. Good morning from New Zealand. Ooh, I appreciate you tuning in, man. That is some dedication, my guy. I appreciate that. Mr. Wing said, what people aren't thinking about is the amount of contracts that expire next year and the subsequent year. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier in the talk. I went through all the contracts that are expiring. The fact that we need to get so many of these guys under contract. So it's kind of hard to bring in a highly salaried quarterback. I mean, his 2021 figure is not bad. His 2022 base salary is really high. We need the picks. Trading them away for a quarterback leaves you with a great player and no team. That's what I argued in my video, Mr. Wing, essentially. And I'm not, guys. I mean, I know that it's funny because earlier I was told I was a Hurts hater. Now I'm a Hurts, apologist and sympathize. I don't know, guys, man. I guess you are what you are to people, man. I don't know. I'm a person who doesn't know what Hurts is yet. I can break down his film for you last year and tell you where he struggled. I haven't been able to see enough film. I only know what I'm being heard reported. I'm waiting for the preseason. Then I can give you guys actual film study of what's going on. Once the preseason kicks in and we get some games, guys, I can legitimately break down things. I got to wait for that, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to wait for that. Ken said, thanks, Coach. I'm a line guy. I heard he was tossing around massive weights like Fletcher. He's a strong guy, man. Ken, if you go to my channel, I had a live stream with Philly Jim. James, Jim, he was high school teammates with Landon Dickerson. So he kind of gave a little insight to him. It was pretty cool. Hey, no problem, Mr. Wing. No big deal. Vic 3, my guy, he said, thoughts getting a vet on the wide receiver corps for Philly Fan D. Sorry, Vic, I jumped on me. Not a horrible idea, but I think you got to wait out and just kind of, I think that's more of a late camp thing, Philly Fan D, like let it kind of play out. And then when you get a feel for who's on and who's off this roster, because that's going to take a space. So you're going to lose one of the young guys if you do that. But yeah, I don't think it's a horrible idea. What are your thoughts on Kenneth Gainwell so far? Athletic, still has a ways to go, Vic. I thought we'd see and hear more from him. There's still a lot of camp left. It's not like I'm down on the guy, but I was expecting to hear a little bit more. I mean, to be honest with you, it seems like Jason Huntley seems to be stealing the show a little bit with that, but similar roles. Those guys kind of play similar roles. What's up, Blaze Tailed? Appreciate you, man, stopping in. Mr. Wing says, why are we seeing this, but Howie isn't? Is he just leaking rumors to deliberately misinform the public? I don't know, man. I'm not too sure that. I don't know if it's Howie doing it. I don't know if it was Watson's agent, if it's the Texans front office. I would tend to think it's probably Watson's agent more than anything, because if we pick up the phone and we just inquire what you're asking for, we do the basic talk to figure out it's going to immediately be blown up because we're the Eagles and because it's Howie Roseman. You know how it is, man. After Eagles sign all the players to that we need to sign, I wonder how much we would have left. We got to create space for 2022 to do that, Cody, to be honest. Yeah, it's going to be hard, man. Scoob-Doo, what's good, man? How you doing? All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'll post the link in here. Let me hit the invite button. I'll post the link in. You guys you're free to come in, free to talk a little bit if y'all want to. I'll let you guys, we've been 30 minutes with me, so we can do 30 minutes or so with you guys, just kind of directing the conversation, whatever way you guys want to direct it. It's in the chat, guys. So, it won't let me pin it, of course, because I'm not on my phone. But it's in the chat, guys, StreamYard. I put it in there. I hear you, Ken. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, James, Jim knew a lot, man. Philly Jim knew a lot about him because they were high school teammates. Him and Landon Dickerson played football together, so it's really good to get guys insights like that you can talk to. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys help. Guys, the StreamYard link is in the chat right now if y'all want to jump in, guys. Give you, hey, if you want to come in for a minute or two and ask some questions or ask the chat questions yourself, I'll let you guys kind of direct the conversation at this point, guys. I think we kind of covered the contracts. I think we get a gist of kind of what's happening. I mean, we don't know exactly, what the front office is planning to do, but they certainly want the money for a reason. And part of that reason, I think, has been adequately brought up by the chat, which is part of that reason is to create a buffer. You don't want to go into a season with only $3 to $5 million and to have something happen and you have no flexibility and cap space to really get a player that could, if you're competing, that could really help. I mean, you can always sign a low cost guy that's not going to cost you jack crap, but you know what I mean? Like, if you truly are competing, then you're going to want that cap flexibility. I mean, that's a big one to me. Vic 3 said it's all the Texans. I truly believe they're trying to get rid of Watson. There's only one team interested in Carolina. Then you need to drum up interest, and they are the ones putting out the fake report. Maybe. I don't even know if Carolina's that interested because, I'm in North Carolina, and to be honest with you, Darnold's been having pretty good practices here. Like, Darnold's looked pretty good for the Panthers. I mean, look, if you can get Watson, you're going to take Watson over Darnold. There's no doubt about it. But they're in the same boat where they've invested. Now they invested in Darnold. I don't think they extended Darnold yet. So, I mean, there's that to consider, that Darnold's probably not under contract for too much longer. Let me look it up real quick, guys. I don't know how much longer Sam Darnold's under contract. I mean, there is that to kind of consider, that maybe they would make that move because Darnold's just not necessarily a long-term option for them. But, look, the one thing I can say in private conversations I had backstage and the things I didn't really show, so he's under contract through 2022. So he's this year and next year. But he's got 18.8 in base salary for 2022. So, Darnold's got a pretty big base salary as well, guys. I mean, there's that to consider for the Panthers. But I will say, when I was talking behind the stage to Max, Max Brown being a former, Gatorade All-American, played at USC. He was there for Sam Darnold's, freshman year. He saw the kind of talent level he was. He spoke highly of Sam Darnold. He thinks that it was just a bad fit with the Jets and that he's a much better quarterback than he showed with the Jets. I don't know, guys. I mean, personally, I don't know. I don't have a lot of invested in that one, so it's hard to say, but who knows? Who knows, man? I know the Panthers seem to be pretty high on him so far. Howie's nuts if he trades for Deshaun Watson. Any D-line young players you can see having a great year? Philly Fan D, that's a really good question. I think the issue you're going to have with that situation is how do you get them to crack the lineup? You get what I mean? Like, that's the struggle. I think Milton Williams will have a chance on certain pass rush situations to play a role. But when you really look at the fact of having Brandon Graham, having Derrick Barnett, having Josh Sweat, having Ryan Kerrigan, that's a pretty deep four. I mean, how many snaps is your fifth defensive end honestly going to get? You know what I mean? Like, now look, knock on wood, before I even say it, injuries can happen, man. You know what I mean? Injuries can happen. So if injuries happen, then it's probably a different situation, Philly fan D, but that's a tough one, man, because you just got to factor in, can we really see any of those guys taking away snaps from Barnett, from Sweat, from Kerrigan, from Graham? I doubt it, but who knows, man? I mean, maybe Milton Williams just comes out. I mean, Milton Williams had a couple of really good reps. I mean, they were against Andre Dillard, but he had a couple of really good reps, man. So maybe. You know, Dillard's a hard one to figure out when you got guys going up against him, because I don't know if it's just our D-line is that good or if Dillard's that bad. It's probably a little bit of both, but you know what I'm saying? Three Card Monty said, how's our safety situation? I'm concerned. Tough to say, Three Card Monty. I mean, right now, if you got a healthy McLeod, and that's a hard one to say, man, because McLeod's coming off, a second ACL now. He's over 30. He's got a second ACL. I don't know if he's going to be the same player. But the crazy thing was, Three Card Monty, I thought he was having a really good season last year before he went down. He was one of the sole bright spots we had, and he went down. It's hard to say, man. Minus McLeod, Kayvon Wallace, who knows, man? I got to see it. I got to see it against a common opponent. You know what I mean? Like, there's been some encouraging signs there. I mean, Obi Melifonwu, very physically gifted guy, never really had the full instincts yet at the NFL level to produce. He's intriguing. You look at Marcus Epps. He's been on the team for a while. He's got experience playing in that Minnesota system. He's another guy that's probably a little bit more athletic than most people realize, but that's not a quality starting safety. I think it all hinges, man. It's going to hinge on Kayvon Wallace. Kayvon Wallace has to prove to be it. I mean, you got Adams, and maybe Adams can step up and play a role. I don't know. You got Grayland Arnold. I think Grayland Arnold's decent, but I think Grayland Arnold's a little out of position as a safety. I think even in college, he should have been a nickel, in my opinion, in college. But yeah, I mean, hard to say, man. Yeah, some of you guys saying that the Jets have been crap for quite some time. I hear you, man. They have been, guys. Definitely. Cody, I agree, man. Everyone that's trying to drum up trade interest always uses Howie Roseman or the Eagles to make other teams feel that there's competition. Yeah, I mean, never mind that there's some serious hurdles to clear for such an action. But, yeah, absolutely. But I also think it's because Howie's always super aggressive. And I think that there's always probably an overstatement that they give for it, but there's also an element of truth. You get what I'm saying, guys? Like, they're over drumming the interest, but there's an element of truth that he probably did call. But I'm pretty sure most of the GMs called. They don't have top 12 franchise quarterbacks. Sure, they at least picked up the phone and found out what the asking price was. I hear you, man. Three Carmani said, can we just trade Dillard at this point? It's all about the value, man. Who values them? Who's going to want to pay them? That's kind of the thing, man. Like, what kind of value does he really have? I don't know that he has enough value. I mean, maybe you can just get a day 3 pick for him. Hopefully you get an early day 3 pick, like a 5th rounder. I doubt you'll get a 4th rounder, guys, but, fingers super crossed you get a 4th rounder. I doubt it, man. I don't know, man. 3 Card Monty, I'm really disappointed in Dillard because I thought he was going to come out better than this. I did. Chris, I'm going to get to yours in a minute, Mr. Wing. I see it. Chris said, why is Dillard not doing well? Shorter arms, Chris, and he just doesn't have the strength to anchor yet. I don't know, man. Maybe he's going to – Chris, I mean, it's still early in camp. Maybe we're overreacting to it. It's possible, but I don't know, man. It's really hard to say, man. Finally, we might blitz. Holy crap, how long have we waited? I think it's going to happen, Mr. Wing. I definitely think it's going to happen. Vic, what's good, my guy? I'm going to bring you in, man. What's up, Vic?
What's going on, man?
It's been a while since I've been live, man.
Yeah, it's been a real long time, man. Good to talk to you.
Yes, sir. So what you got? What you thinking, man?
Nothing, man. I just think this has been a wild week. What was it, Tuesday night, 11 o'clock? We get some wild news with, I don't know, some reporter from CBS apparently knowing more than everyone else, but apparently wasn't the case. You could just tell that that report was probably just put out there just to get his name out there, which it apparently worked. And now everybody's still talking about it. And, he did what he
Yeah,
needed to do. But yeah, like I was saying before, I think all that's fake. I don't think there's any real interest from the Eagles into Watson at this moment. I think, as I mentioned before, and I know I've told you many times, this is an evaluation season for everyone on the squad, especially Hurts. He has this year to prove himself. After that, if he can't, then we'll move on to other options, and we'll look into different things. But at the moment, right now, this is Jalen Hurts' team. Whether or not the Eagles want to name him the starter at the moment, it really is nothing big. They just want him to earn it. I think that's more of the reason why they didn't say anything. So a lot of
yeah,
people are just making out of something out of nothing.
yeah. I agree with you there. I mean, I think you were one of the first ones I saw on Twitter that was. I think you didn't you put out the fake news tweet?
Well, the thing was actually on I want to say it was Bird Game 31's live.
It was.
I heard them, yeah, I heard them talking about it, and I don't want to say who, but I messaged a friend of mine who's a reporter. He literally told me if that was true, I would have already reported it already, and I just went on and let them know, hey, all this is fake. And then he was
Yeah.
sending me as I'm live. He's sending me information from Houston saying, yeah, down in Houston, this is not a thing. We got reporters saying that there is no interest whatsoever. No one even knows where this story came from, and it's only coming from one single person. So when that happens, you have to. It's not even an assumption. It's fake.
Yeah,
And and it came from a Texans guy who said that that's not true. And when the guy reported it, that said Eagles and the Texans are like heating up in the trade. You could ask a Texans reporter who tweets about the Texans and covers them. He even went on there and said it's not true. So I believe that more than the guy that has like one person saying it.
Well, the thing
yeah,
I've been informed is that the Eagles were in conversations, but nothing serious. It was just a feeler. What's going on? What are you looking for? Just that. And the Eagles have been keeping a close ear to what's going on. So the Eagles are involved in the situation, but not as much as people think. They just have an ear to the situation. That's all.
yeah. I thought it was funny. I saw Brunson had a tweet where he pulled up one of the guys that originally quoted it, and he was like, "This dude has a blue check."
Yeah.
I thought it was
That's
a
the
pretty
thing I
good.
mentioned.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's the thing I mentioned too. You got to watch who you follow. You got to watch where the information is coming from, because if
Yeah,
it isn't like a real credible source, we even seen this year. Adam Schefter, he had a slip up this year, so it doesn't matter. You have to understand that a lot of times when you hear sources, that's coming from the reporter themselves. Everyone's trying to advance themselves. Everyone's trying to get their careers and going. And this is one of the ways to do it. When you get a lot of attention on your name, it doesn't matter what happens after the fact. You just got the attention. That's all that matters.
yeah. What's good? I see my guy down here, Philly 500's brother.
How you doing?
That's
Good.
Joseph
How are
Bentley
you?
right there. That's
Hey,
Joseph. Yeah.
hey, Steven. So why do you think they restructured them two contracts?
My original instinct is that they were doing it for two reasons. Number one, just a litany of players that are on they're coming up on they'll be on their second contract. So when you do a second contract, you're going to have to take some of that money that you give them, and it's going to have to be put into the current year. So you're going to have a little space in 2021 to extend guys like Goddard, to extend guys like Josh Sweat and those guys. And then also, I just think that if you're going into a season, you're going to want a little bit of cap flexibility just in case if you have an injury. I mean, if not, then you're going to be bargain bin shopping for a player if you're in contention, and that's not a good place to be in, cash strapped and needing a player if you're in contention. That's what I originally thought. Like I said, I had no clue. I mean, I could definitely understand why people were looking at it and going, wait a minute, now we got $15 million available. Watson's base salary is only $10 million, a little over $10 million. It fits. I got immediately why people thought it. But I was just like, man, when you look at that 2022 figure though, man, it's $35 million in base. That's big.
They're not going to get Watson. They're not going to do it. I don't know why they keep saying that. My original, I think that $16 million is a lot to have the restructure. So think about it, Steven. If they cut Ertz, right, or trade him, and in the beginning of the season or before the season starts, that'll give them $24 million. If they decide, just say Barnett doesn't make the first the first squad, right, and he's a backup, Nobody's trying to pay $10 million to a backup. So if they cut him, they got another $10 million. That'll give them $34 million. So my thing is, I thought that they cut it because they was going to try to trade for Xavier Howard. That's who I thought they were going there. That's who I still think that they're going there. It would be the best thing, and it would be the best thing you could do is go get him.
What is his contract? Does anyone know his base?
I don't.
Yeah, he's only making like $11 million this year.
Why?
Is that his base?
He wants 13. He wants 13, 5, 14 million is from what I'm hearing, and the Dolphins won't give it to him. They're like, no, you signed it. You're 2 years into it. We don't care how good you are. So my whole thing is, if you think about it, Steven, because I think about the defense a lot more than the offense a lot. But we got our front four. If we go get Xavier Howard, who is going to stop? Who's going to stop? Who's going to, like, we got Steven Nelson in the slot. We got Slay and Xavier Howard on the corners. We got Harris in the middle. We got Harris, and then that other dude from Minnesota that we got, the linebacker, the safety. Harris is one of them. I don't remember what the other guy's name is. But then you got Barnett, you got Cox, you got Graham. You know what I'm saying? On the line, you got Devon Hargrave or whoever's on the defensive line is they're going to start. You got all these people that are really, really good. Our defense is going to be really, really good if they can go get Xavier Howard. I'm going to say that our defense is going to be a top 3.
I'm going to share his contract for everybody so everybody can see here, guys. So Xavier Howard, remember, guys, we are responsible for the base salary on a contract. So if you look at his base salary, guys, 2021, he's at $12,075,000, all right? He's got a $1.4 million signing bonus, but that's not on us. That would be on them to pay for that. He does have a potential out in his contract in 2022. I mean, financially, could you make this work? Possibly. You're still talking about $12 million. We only got about $3 million. We got to factor in the TV contracts, the amount of guys we got to get extended. All that stuff still applies here. But I mean, kind of, I could see where you might be able to get that done depending on the moves you make. But I got to be honest with you guys. I'll just ask you guys a quick question. Since, we just kind of looked at this. Let me pull this thing down, stop sharing it so everybody can. So, Fletcher Cox. Love Fletcher Cox. I'm excited to see him in this defense. I do think that he could be potentially good. But my question about Fletcher Cox in this defense is, if you look at his contract for 2022, do you think he's still on this team come next year?
It depends on how he plays this year. I think that's going to really depend on how he plays.
That's the tough one I'm having, because I pointed him out at the beginning of this year. When I first started doing the salary cap numbers, I ran down that, look, outside of Wentz, this is the highest paid player that was on the team at that time. It does make me, guys, I'm sorry that the chat is frozen. If I'm not pulling your comments up, it's because the chat froze on me, guys. So I apologize.
Yeah, it's froze.
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy to me that what this defense would look like without Fletcher Cox, because I do agree with something I heard said, which is Fletcher Cox is still a good football player. He is. But he's not, I don't know that he's that same guy that used to be, you know what I'm saying, that key guy on the defense, that guy that you could build around, you could build a defense around because he's so disruptive. That's what I'm hoping to see this year. I'm hoping to see Fletcher Cox get, I think it'd be the first time in his career, get double-digit sacks, and I want to see top 25 pressure rate. I want to see him finish in the top 25 in pressure rate and in double-digit sacks. I don't give a crap about sacks. I care about pressure, but it would stop everybody else that pays attention to the sacks. Everyone would be like, okay, look, man, he got double-digit sacks, and he was at what Gates said about pressure. That's what I want to see from Fletch, because then I think you can justify the contract. But, man, his contract it's insane.
See, and that's the thing. It's the money. Now, Fletch is still has very good value to him. And I don't see his game getting any better going next year. So I do understand when people are saying, this is time to trade Fletch, because it is. Just like the same mistake we did with Zach Ertz. He's held on to him too long. And look at what position that we're in now. And if we don't do anything with Fletcher, we're going to be in the same position with him. There's no doubt about it. Like, again, I know he's a fan favorite. He's a great player still. But you have to move on from a player when they're still somewhat on the top, because if not, that drop is going to be drastic, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when it happens.
We have 3 guys that are almost making $20 million next year against the cap.
Well, I think they're going to trade him, but keep Brandon Graham. I think Brandon Graham's better than Fletcher Cox.
I mean, he's certainly been on the field more recently. I mean, Fletcher's getting kind of banged up a little bit and missing snaps. I still think defenses plan a little bit more for Fletcher Cox than they do Brandon Graham. But, Brandon Graham he's been exceptional for the Eagles. I mean,
Fletcher's taking the second most double teams in the league. So you know defenses. I mean,
think about Josh Sweat. Is his knee better?
I mean, it's. I don't think it's ever going to be better because it's like a degenerative condition. So it's never going to get better, but it's certainly not as bad as they made it out on draft day. You guys remember all the talk about Josh Sweat? I mean, everyone was hyped about him. Everyone knew him, but everyone was like, "Oh, he's got a degenerative knee condition. He's not going to make it through, his first contract in the NFL. He'll never see a second contract." Well, it turns out his knee wasn't quite as bad as they said, but it's still a degenerative issue. So you still have to snap count it. I just don't know what that snap count is. Is it 60 snaps? Is it 50 snaps? Is it 40 snaps? I don't think we'll know that until we see him in the role.
And the thing is, too, like if you look at a player like Josh Sweat, there was problems with his knees, but there's also been players with knee issues like Frank Gore. You have Hines Ward, who literally had no ECLs in both his knees and played a long career. No one ever knows exactly when your body's going to give out. So that's why I don't understand, like you were saying, what is the snap count? How do you know too much is too much for Josh Sweat? I think at the moment you can't be concerned with that. You just got to let the guy play.
Yeah, I mean, my saying always is victories. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on YouTube.
Yeah, like if you can't predict the future. If doctors themselves don't know what's going on, and yeah, like I said, it is something you want to be concerned. You want to keep your eye on. But again, at the same time, if he's producing the way he is, let him play.
Yeah, I agree. What's up, Eagles Uncensored?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Hey, Steven, what is your thoughts on the tight ends that we have? Like we have like 5 or 6 of them.
So I'll bring Eagle Uncensored. I'll bring you in on this one as well. But I think Tyree Jackson has an outside shot at making the roster. I think if Zach Ertz wasn't here, his probability would be much higher. But I think the real question becomes it's when you get to the roster construction, are the Eagles going to keep 3 quarterbacks? I have my doubts they're going 3 quarterbacks. Maybe they do. I think it'd be a lot smarter to go 2 quarterbacks, especially with a veteran like Flacco already on the roster, because Nick Mullins already got a shoulder issue from the surgery. He can't push the ball downfield. He's definitely an on-time West Coast offense quarterback, but I think you just got to make a decision between Nick Mullins and Joe Flacco, and then go sign some guy that gets cut to be on the practice squad to be your third. I mean, that's what I would do personally. But I look at it that way. Then you got to factor in how many running backs are you keeping? Are you only going to go 5? So say you go 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and then you could potentially go as high as 4 tight ends. Obviously, you're tipping your hand if you're going to run a lot of unique sets. You have to be 2-back sets then. You have to play some 12 because your roster is going to dictate that because you're only carrying 5 receivers. Then you can go 10 offensive linemen as well. That would give you your 25 if my math's correct. Never trust me. Always check it, guys. I
think they're going to keep. I think they're going to keep 6 receivers and 4 running backs.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people think. It'd be probably 6 receivers, 3 tight ends, 4 running backs, potentially 2 quarterbacks, maybe 3, and then either 9 or 10 offensive linemen. The inverse of that being is that they go 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 receivers, 3 tight ends, 10 offensive linemen. I don't know.
I think they're going to cut Boston Scott.
For what? Like, what are you keeping the 3rd quarterback for? If you got to get to your 3rd quarterback, you're up the hill without a paddle anyway. You
got to think about it. You got to think about it this way, though. We have COVID, and it's only getting worse. Last year, we seen there was a possibility we needed that 3rd emergency quarterback. So you're going to have a 3rd quarterback this season. You know what I mean? Because again, you don't know what's going to happen throughout the whole year. Especially,
wouldn't you keep him on the practice squad though, Vic? Because if you put him in that meeting room, and some guy comes in and you know what I'm saying? Like they're probably all going to end up testing for it unless it's a false positive test.
True. But it could be like last
He
year.
said
like
Nick Mullins is having a better camp than Joe Flacco, though. So do you keep Joe Flacco just because he's more money?
No, I wouldn't keep Flacco because he's more money. I'd keep Flacco because he's just a better player. I mean, it's argumentative to say that to say anyone's having a better camp because we don't know. Like, we haven't seen enough film to say where the read is supposed to go. The knock I'm hearing about Nick Mullins is that number one, he really didn't push the ball down the field when he was in San Francisco. I mean, he had a couple of games where he definitely took advantage of and got some guys, but mostly he was definitely a dump it off West Coast quarterback. So, I mean, him playing on time, it doesn't surprise me. I guess the matter is that, if Joe Flacco also, he's got he had the neck surgery last year that put him out for some games. If he's not fully healthy, then I guess you got yourself a situation. But my thing is, if Nick Mullins beats him out, then no. I mean, Joe Flacco's contract's not that expensive. Like, I still think you part ways if he gets beat out. If he gets beat out by Nick Mullins should be your number 2.
I still say move on from Flacco because he's not going to end up winning that competition. You have a quarterback that can seriously, back up Jalen Hurts. I mentioned it before, a Gardner Minshew, someone that's going to compete for that second spot.
Yeah. All right, Uncensored. What do you think about all this, man?
Well, what was the original question? It was about tight ends, correct?
Tight ends, yeah. I think he was referring about Tyree Jackson about making the roster or not.
How many we're going to keep?
No, I was referring because we got Rodgers. We got Rodgers too, who had a really good season last year. So do we just cut him, keep Tyreek Jackson, and Ertz and Goddard? What do you think they're going to do?
Well,
keep 3 and have one on the practice squad.
I'm going to say this. I think we keep all of them. Jackson will be on the practice squad probably. Because what I'm trying to figure out through all of this is I have a suspicious feeling Ertz will be gone, but he'll be gone towards the end of the trade deadline. We'll use him probably for the first 5-6 weeks here. And then just to see where everyone stands. And if they can see that Rodgers can step up and Jackson can step up and they can move on from Ertz and still have stability, that's probably what they'll end up doing, and Skoll's doing good too, so we have a lot of talent in that room, man. It's really hard to say which way they're going to go, I love Ertz. I want him to be here, I mean, he's kind of my whole life tight end, him and Selleck both, but it's hard, man. I don't want to see him play for any other team, but I understand it from a business point of view. So,
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's a tough decision to make between those guys. I mean, I definitely think if you keep Ertz on the roster, it becomes very difficult to evaluate what we should be doing and what the contract value should be for Dallas Goedert. I think that's my biggest issue. Not that I want to see Ertz go because, I think you can make an honest case that Ertz is a better overall player. Although I think Goddard's the better – I don't know, man, because Goddard can block. He's not a good route runner, but he's a big physical guy. They're just different types of tight ends. They're completely different types. That's the issue. But, yeah, the evaluation, I think, gets muddled of Goddard if you keep Ertz on the roster. But that might be the case, man. We might be holding him to the trade deadline, or he might be here for the entire year. I mean, it might just be teams not going to budge and give anything near a 4th-round pick. And – that's pretty much I guess you're holding on to see what you get for a compensatory pick. But even compensatory picks aren't guaranteed. You got to lose more players than you find to get a compensatory pick.
Yeah, but I love the fact that we have Goddard. Because, like I said, Goddard is basically like our ace in the hole. We can do pretty much what we want. He can go on the field and still perform. We can use him as a trade piece. And as we mentioned before, and it looks like he's doing it, he is that veteran, mentor that we wanted for our tight ends. So he is coming in here and play. It doesn't seem like there's any attitude. You know what I mean? Like there's no hostility. Goddard isn't making any noise. So it looks like everything could work out for the year. Is his contract amount a little too high? Yeah. But again, this is his last season. I think it's what was that?
Then, the other thing, I like what you said a couple of days ago, Vic. about Ertz is if he agrees to be tight end too and he's fine with that and there's no drama there, keep him because say something would happen to Goddard, Ertz is actually the next best option, I mean, I'd rather have Ertz be his backup if he would get injured rather than Rodgers. Would you not, Gates?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, $8 million is a pretty expensive price to pay for. Well, actually, it's more than 8. It's 12 for a backup tight end. I mean, it's pretty expensive. The only reason that a lot of us are so calm about the situation is because it's Zach Ertz, and he's a big part of why we have a Super Bowl ring. It's tough, man, because this is a guy that you want to eventually come back and retire as a Philadelphia Eagle. So you kind of have to treat this in a certain way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I think a lot of people are mad about the way last year shook out, and I'll be honest. I don't think that Ertz was giving the full effort of the time. I think there were times that Ertz was pulling up on plays. I think that he felt like he sacrificed his body in 2019 to get us into the playoffs. Came back way before he was really supposed to come back. And then he felt like, you know what? I didn't get paid hooper money. You didn't come. You didn't do what, we all thought the offer was fair. Clearly, Zach Ertz did not feel that offer was fair or was what was promised. So, I don't know, man. It's a tough situation with Zach Ertz. That's a really tough one, man, because it just feels like you don't want to ruin the reputation of a guy that's been so important to the team.
Right. Yeah, I understand. And, one way I look at it too is, I mean, dude, I wish he could be selling. I wish he could just kind of rest in that role, and he could accept it. But I just feel he doesn't, he feels he has more to give yet. And I'm okay with that, But as far as it means being on this team giving it, I think we all can come to agreement. He doesn't want that, and neither does his front office. So, I mean, eventually he's going to go. It's just, it's like I keep saying, man, it's all on how stubborn Howie is, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be an interesting situation because you have to, like I said, man, you have to evaluate Goddard somehow. And I just don't know how you do that. I mean, so if you're going to give Goddard a fair evaluation, how many snaps are you honestly going to give Zach Ertz at $12 million? That's, it's like, it's just none of this makes sense. It doesn't. Like,
now, just a thought. With this also being Goddard's contract season, wouldn't you think having Zach Ertz on the team now kind of nullifying a little bit of his numbers, so that way when it does come time to negotiate his contract, we're not paying someone who had a spectacular season. We're still paying someone who had a decent season.
I don't think their agents are going to see it that way, Vic, to be honest. You know what I mean?
You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, for the team, I'm saying on the team aspect.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're talking about trying to gain leverage in the negotiation.
Yeah.
But
there's a reason they do what they do, and that's why they're vultures.
Now, I get what you're saying. I don't know that, I think it's going to create a big stalemate. I already heard. I don't know if it's true. I haven't heard it from a reporter. It was one of the content creators I talked to on the regular said that he said he heard Goddard wanted top 10 tight end money, which top 10 makes sense to me. But then I heard somebody else say that he wanted top 5, and it's like, woo. Now we're getting to an area where I start getting uncomfortable.
But didn't we call it Goddard top 5 about a year ago?
I think so. Look at this guy. What's up, Mike?
Oh.
Yo, Dad, what's going on with everybody? Nah, I just wanted to stop in and say what's up and chat it up with you guys before I hit the road.
Cool, man. So we're talking about tight ends, man. We're talking about Zach Ertz and the situation we're trying to evaluate Dallas Goedert. What do you think about this, man? Like, should Zach Ertz be on the team?
Yeah, well, throughout the offseason, I was ready to get rid of him for just the extra money and making moves to better this roster. Now that we were able to better this roster, what we did on defense, getting a better safety, getting a better linebacker, getting a better corner, getting a better edge rusher to come in and play. It's kind of like, I don't know. And now I think, this is just the tea leaves because I was alive a little bit before you were going. I didn't know you were going. And we're still waiting on Fresh for BBP tomorrow. You know what I mean? Hopefully we can get that going. We'll do it anyways, regardless. We'll find, you know what I mean? But he hasn't hit me back. Anyways, I think Nick Sirianni's in Howie's ear, like, look, unless somebody goes down big time and you can get good value for Zach Ertz, I like what I'm seeing out of him. And I think Nick Sirianni's going to push to keep him. And because he sees how dominant, he's going to fall into that 12 personnel. I don't think we'll do it as much as we did under Doug. And I think you got to give the nod to Goddard just because of the future. Like, there's no, it's like a 98%, a 98% to 2% chance that something would happen and we extend Ertz and let Goddard walk out. That's how drastic it is, drastically different. So with that being said, you have to see what Goddard offers while being like, Zach Ertz, help move the chains too, because he's still, when in doubt, probably our best go-to guy.
Sure. Yeah, he's a really good route runner for a tight end. I mean, hands down, he's a great route runner.
So in layman's terms, I think that, you know, when they first said Goddard's going to get the nod and Ertz will be behind them, I think that was Howie and everybody saying that's what we think. But as Sirianni's seeing what Ertz can do, he's like, well, I'm going to make some packages for both of them, and maybe some where, yes, Goddard's the starter, but Goddard can't do this quite as good as Ertz. And in these packages, you might see, wait, why is Ertz on the field without Goddard? I thought he's number one. You're going to see some of that. And it is going to be a little distraction for Goddard, but it's about winning football games too. So it's a very tough situation to manage them to. And with Nick Sirianni not trying to have a losing season because he got to perform for his job. You know what I mean?
So the other topic we had was, all right, we know you can go heavy on one side of the ball. You can go 26 on the offense, 24 on the defense, or vice versa. But just say nice and even 25. Not necessarily naming the players, Mike, but how do you divvy up the 25 roster spots between each position group? How many quarterbacks? How many running backs? How many receivers, tight ends, and offensive linemen you got?
Dang, you making me do math on a Friday. Well, I was listening back because I was in the chat for a little bit. I could see him still going 2 quarterbacks.
That's what I think might happen too.
I think they'll still go 2 quarterbacks. I see them going 4 runner backs, 6 wide receivers. So what is that? 4, 6, that's 10, and
14.
then 2 is 12, and then I would say 10 offensive linemen deep and 3 tight ends.
Well, you can actually take 4.
Then let's go 11 offensive linemen deep.
You said 11. So you got that's interesting. So you got 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 receivers, 3 tight ends, and then 11 linemen. I mean, I could see that because you don't know what's the health status of a Landon Dickerson. You don't know the health status of some of the guys. I could see that. I could see them going ridiculously heavy at offensive line.
Yeah, Landon Dickerson's a guy that is not going to play all season, but you're dare not going to move him around anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our offensive line with Brandon Brooks being a little, that's impactful. We always have problems there. So I think 11 is pretty good. And we do have the depth to keep the right guys there. You got guys like Herbig and Pryor's. Like, Pryor's not your legit starter, but if he had to come in at guard for a little bit over a tackle position, he probably could and stuff. And then, like I said, I think if I'm going to jump the skill position, I think wide receiver. I think we got to hold as many as them because they're the most unknown, Tight end a little known, running back known. Quarterback is not known, but you don't have many of them anyways. And our offensive line is tough, but can they be there? You know what I mean?
So if you got 6 receivers, I'm going to assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, you got obviously Devontae Smith, obviously Jalen Reagor, obviously Travis Fulgham. You're those 3. I'm going to say you probably have Greg Ward Jr. and you probably have Quez Watkins. That's 5. So who's your 6, JJ or John Hightower?
I'm done with the JJR segue. So I gotta just rock John just because I'm done.
That's funny. He gave up, man. He gave up. He got tired of him running into his own tackles.
I know.
Failing to run a switch route. Oh, man. It's going to be crazy if he ends up having a big preseason because that's going to really mess things up.
It is. Yeah. But So where did you got? Did y'all like? Did anybody on the panel hugely differ out of that? Like went crazy at one?
Yeah, I think we all said different numbers a little bit. I don't think any of us were like drastically different, but I think we all said a little bit of different numbers. Some of us said that they're probably going to carry 3 quarterbacks because of COVID protocol.
COVID froze them.
They got the COVIDities. Oh, come on.
One quarterback down already. None of us are quarterbacks. See, we need to keep more quarterbacks.
That's why I told him. That's why you need to keep 3. Now, but since he's frozen, I'll just say something. You had Mike Kai on the other day. It was the same day that the Jalen Hurts news broke. How did you take it when all that came out?
With the what?
With the Watson news.
Oh, go ahead. I think it's more of a Howie's always going to be curious about Watson, but I don't see anybody making a move until he has more clarification. Go ahead, Steve.
Hold on, I just came in, bro. What are we talking about? I heard something Watson. Who I just walked into.
Nah, he only asked that real quick while you were going. I was like, dang, and you're the only quarterback on the panel, so it looks like we do need to keep a couple quarterbacks. You know what I mean? When you froze up.
My thing is I would go with 2, and I would find a kid that gets cut somewhere and put him on the practice squad as my emergency 3. I mean, that's what I would do personally. What the Eagles do, who knows? I said my thoughts on Watson. Where are you at on this Watson stuff, man?
I can't touch him until there's some clarity in it. Like there's criminal charges that are on his name, whether he's innocent or guilty. If you're asking me purely as a player, no doubt I would give up a lot for him. But until I know his situation, I can't go that route because like this could take a turn to the left and he might, I mean, it's probably not, but there's a chance. What if he never plays again? Like this is big. Like,
yeah, I was kind of shocked that news broke, but then Vic pointed out it was completely faked. You know?
Yeah, it was fake.
But the thing is, like I said before, it's the negative attention that comes with it. Why would you want to take that on? That's what I don't understand.
That's right.
I don't get why anyone would even be interested. We're talking about 24 women that have potentially been assaulted. What NFL team wants to be like, oh, we're going to welcome him with open arms?
Yeah,
it's rough.
Like I said, man, I don't know the legal situation. I'm not going to sit here and act like I studied it at all. I know he had quite a few accusers. I don't know what happened. I don't even want to broach that subject, but my thing is like, yo, this is just what it's like to be an Eagles fan. Everything was going smooth. We had a lot of coverage of the Eagles. Things were looking good. And then you wake up one Thursday morning and you're like, what happened? Like, why is Twitter blowing up?
Right early in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, man, this is why you can't do this. All right. First off, our whole offensive line loves this kid. All right. They're 100% behind him. You know, just the energy that this guy brings and how people gravitate to him, you know, and just the connection he already has in that building. Like, if you would trade him out right now, first off, Watson would have to learn a whole new system in like 2.5 weeks. That's dumb. He would have to develop chemistry with all these new guys. That's dumb. Not just that, but we just got out of a Carson Wentz situation, which is paying a man a shit ton of money. Why the hell would we go put ourselves right back into that situation?
Yeah.
That's retarded. You can go and you can play with Hurts, who is what's he making? Do you know, Gates? Can you help me on that? What's his contract?
You're probably making like $900K.
That's what I'm thinking. I was like, I actually said 750. That's what I was thinking.
I think it's a little closer to 900 because he's a second round pick, but he's not. He's under $1 million more than likely, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So you have all that money for the next 3 years that you can build around this kid. If you get Watson, that money goes away. Your draft picks goes away. And not just that, but we need those draft picks for the future. Because you know what? We have too many holes on this team, offense and defensively, that we need to fill over the next couple of years. We need those picks. Getting Watson fixes nothing for me.
It might be over $1 million.
Yeah, he is. So his cap hit is $1.3 million, so $1,369,357. He's got a $486 signing bonus, and an $871 base salary. Works out to
Well,
the
still, I'll
$1.3
take that
million.
over $50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, imagine what you could build around this kid with just that little bit of money you're paying him.
Watson will get paid that in 3 quarters of play.
Right? That's exactly my
Yeah.
point. The chemistry of this team, dude, you can't mess with it right now. As much love as this kid has for this city and from this city, no lie, dude, you tear him out of this city right now, I bet you none of our offensive line block for Watson. You're gonna see one of those
Longest
what
yard.
was that movie? Remember the Titans when they just stood up and let everyone run by?
Yeah, that's
Like, dude, it would be bad. It would be really bad.
Not only that, but look at how it would look on the outside looking in. When you have other free agents looking at Philadelphia as if, well, that's not a team that a GM would have my back. That's a GM that'll talk to me in the face and say one thing, then turn around and make moves to get my replacement. It's going to be a bad look all around, like I said.
Yeah, I pointed that out to Vic last night. You know, I told him, I said, dude, if they do this to Hurts, I was like, what do you think Smith is going to think? What do you think Goddard's going to think? What do you think Stevens and all these young guys we just drafted are going to think? I mean, you know, it just shows no loyalty whatsoever.
Yeah. And you have to think about Nick Sirianni, because he's a new coach who's building, you know, camaraderie. He's building respect with his team. He's going to lose all that instantly.
Yep.
I mean, my question would be, is if you make a move like that, why did we draft Jalen Hurts in the second round again? Because it wouldn't make any sense. Like, it wouldn't make any sense at all. Like, this is the exact moment you drafted him for. When things fell apart with Carson, we expected it to be injury-wise, but it turned out to be something different, kind of.
His brain was injured.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then why did we draft him? Why did we spend a second-round pick on a quarterback? You do that with the hopes that down the line he could potentially be a starting caliber quarterback. You don't draft a backup in the second round, man. I never bought that argument.
Yeah. Well, and not just that, man, but you also have to look, too. It's like, I want to hear from Jeffrey Lurie then, because that guy just stood out there a couple months ago and said he's starting. All right, so what has changed since then? Did you know about it, and did you okay it? Because if you okayed it, then you lied to me, and I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, man. I honestly think, like, look, I knew we were going to have problems going into this just because I knew that Jalen Hurts would probably have an up and down camp because he's basically a rookie quarterback. I mean, I know people are going to say, well, no, he's just his second year. Like, dude, he played 4 games. He really didn't have an off season last year. I mean, like, this is kind of a rookie quarterback out there taking snaps. If you judge him based upon him being a rookie, you're pretty pleased with the camp. Like, he's had some ups, he's had some downs, but he looks like, for the most part, like, hey, he's got a shot. We don't. It's not a certainty, but there's a shot. There's an opportunity. It looks like he could do it. By the way, does anyone really think McNabb in 2000 was reading everything? No, he was improvising.
Hey, Gate, can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
When it comes to the whole still refuse to make him, in press conference QB1, does that still bother you, or you're just like, it is what it is?
I mean, every guy's different, Mike. For me, if you're asking me, would that bother me? It would bother the hell out of me.
Yeah.
That would drive me crazy.
As a fan,
I think he's making him earn it. That's what it is. That's the reason why he stayed. He's making him earn it. And I don't think Hurts cares. He doesn't care that they don't name him the starting quarterback. He knows what
the reality is they're not rotating number ones. They're not rotating first team reps at quarterback, from what I understand.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's what I would ask if I was a beat writer. I'd be like, look, Hurts is taking all the first team reps. Does that, but the thing is this though, and it was pointing out, I forgot where I heard it on YouTube. I think it was on one of these shows, one of these little first. I don't remember where I heard it from. Maybe it was on the Fanatic. I don't know. Today was a wild day for me. But you got Carson Wentz, who went over to Indianapolis. You know what I mean? Now, again, he's over there. No one else is over there. But he gets hurt. You got people like Phillip Rivers wanting to come back, Nick Foles wanting to go there, and Frank Wright is adamant saying, no, this is Carson's team. I mean, like just backing them where Carson didn't prove anything to the Colts. And if you're looking at NFL eyes, he didn't prove nothing to nobody last year. So why can't you say Jalen Hurts got to go out there and earn his spot? But yes, that's our QB1. You're like, when it was in the offseason, it was one thing. But now that you're giving the guy QB1 reps and you're rotating linebackers, tight ends, safeties, wide receivers, offensive linemen, running backs, just say it now. Now I'm getting mad. I don't know who it is, but it's kind of bugging me a little bit now.
Yeah. What's up, Jay? How you doing, man?
Doing good. Been listening to y'all for the last 15 minutes. Just like, what's going on? Been a little bit of everywhere.
Jalen.
What's going on?
I see you didn't come in with the screen name. Was your last one Steve Harvey? That's right.
Yeah. I thought about coming in as Arsenio Hall this time.
Yeah, I thought we had a celeb the last time, What's good, man? What do you think about all these rumors and stuff?
I'm going to be straight up with you. If you can get Watson for a third, I'll get Watson for a third. Not caring about how it's going to play into the media, don't care about any of that. If I can get Watson for a third and just sit on him until he's clear of charges, or if he goes to jail, I only wasted a third-round pick, but it's a gamble, cool with it. Have that hanging over a young team's head. They're not ready to compete yet. It is what it is. If they like Jalen Hurts goes out there and shows he's a man. I understand it's undercutting them.
Mm-hmm.
I still do it for a third-round pick. I'm not saying a first, Go ahead.
And I was just on a stream and everybody was asking me the same thing. What if we can fleece them? And nobody was saying exactly what it was, and nobody went as far down as a third. But I have not heard any report that the Texans are willing to go off their huge haul. Like the last thing they reported, while the allegations were there, that the Texans still expect in return what they wanted. So it's like, where did this narrative come that there's a possibility you're willing to take less? Which if they're willing to take less, that just goes to show that maybe they did their due diligence and it's more bad than good. However, I've been hearing that too on videos of mine and everything. I'm like, the last thing I heard, which was from Adam Schefter, was it's still the same asking price.
Exactly.
My thing is, my thoughts is, mine is independent of that. I don't care about who's saying what's saying. I'm just saying, you give me a lottery ticket and you tell me the odds are 50-50. He's innocent. He walks out. He's guilty. He goes away. I only lose a third-round pick. It's like a $20 bill to me. All right, cool.
But would you give up 3 first-round picks in that same scenario?
No.
That's
stupid.
Mike.
And that's where
that's mortgaging your future.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Not gonna get fleeced.
Okay, but you have to also realize too, if you go after Watson, I can almost guarantee you that Hurts gets thrown to the Texans. We don't keep Hurts in that trade.
Okay. I mean,
so all you would do is do Houston either, because you're getting rid of their headache, you're getting rid of the contract that they have, you're getting back a quarterback that could be possibly your future. So Houston makes out, and then the Eagles get stuck with one.
And there's no way you keep Hurts in that scenario.
And put it this way, I think it'd be the best thing to do is to get rid of Hurts in that scenario and let Joe Flacco be the placeholder quarterback. I'm fine with that. You get what I'm saying?
If you're but that's the thing though. Like I could say this though. Well, what if Pat Mahomes is on the market? You know what I mean? Like before we say a third-round pick, I think the Texans are going to say third-round pick. They're going to hang up still because they're still going to portray him as the football player. And I have not heard one little report where they're even around to come down to 2 first-round picks. I think it's just people saying, listen, everybody don't want to trade for Watson because of his shenanigans. Well, maybe we can get him for the cheap. No, I think the Texans are going to say, look, they're just going to rock out with him. And if his case beats, well, we can get a haul and restart our future. If it doesn't, well, we had a creep and it's over. He's not playing no more.
What I'm looking at is, look, if I throw a third-round pick out there, I'm letting it sit. It is what it is. You take it, you don't. I ain't losing sleep over it. We going to run our organization how we run our organization.
But let me ask you a question.
You're wishing on a star right now because, like I said, Jack Easterby is not an idiot. This man was the team chaplain and became the GM. So he knows how to swindle people. He's not going to make a dumb move.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question. This is the part that bothered me about that rumor. The fact that this reporter implied that we actually were putting together an offer, to me, that would insinuate that we investigated the situation and came to a conclusion already. That just seemed absurd to me.
But weren't they saying finalizing talks? I think that's what the tweet said. That the Eagles are finalizing talks. Basically, the contract is done. We're just agreeing on money. That's what he was saying.
Now, I will
He
also
went
say
too far. He got the congratulations. You played yourself award.
I will also say I forgot Watson had a no trade clause.
Yeah.
And that's kind of important.
Yeah.
Because even if he is, how can I say this? Even if he is found innocent, if you find out, you keep hypothetical, you keep Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is something. You get what I'm saying? You make the financial decision that Watson's money versus Hurts money right now. I'm taking Hurts money right now because I've built a team around his purely hypothetical. I've built a good enough team around him. We can go compete while he's making little dough. You get what I'm saying? That's different.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Russell
the
Wilson
thing
said
is,
it.
though, man, it's like it's not. But see, Jalen, my thing is it's not just it's not just the compensation and picks. That's one aspect of it, absolutely. And a third-round pick, of course, would be an amazing steal for that type of player.
Yeah.
But everyone's focused on 2021 salary of just over $10 million. Man, his 2022 salary figure for the base is $35 million. We only got $3 million available cap space in 2022. We got 46 guys scheduled to be free agents. I just don't see, like, look, where there's a will, there's a way. But, like, man, that's a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. I mean, let me. I know we're going down the Watson rabbit hole, but I want to have my position established. I am rolling with Jalen Hurts this season. I am rolling with Jalen Hurts next season, regardless if he plays bad this season. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the approach we should go ahead and take. As Jalen Hurts is developing, you're trying to figure out, is he the right guy or not? You fill in the rest of the team around him. Then there comes a key moment where, hey, he's the guy, we're rolling with him. He's not the guy, we're getting somebody else. And then that's when you're really playing ball.
Yeah.
But the thing is, after this season is when you're in best position to correct any mistakes in your quarterback. So I don't think that they would give Hurts another opportunity next year to see where he's at. Then you're left again holding the bag after year 2 of him being a starter with no production, nothing in sight for the future. Again, this is the season that everyone's being evaluated. If Hurts doesn't put out this year, then best believe that we're going to be looking into other options. And if Watson is one of those options, then he is. But
I don't doubt the organization would do that. But I'm just talking about from what I do as a person. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I definitely get you on that. Because I think Hurts only has one season to prove anything.
Yeah, but how do you judge it off of one season, though, guys?
But that's the thing. You have your draft pick now, and you have the opportunity in the draft next year, not the year after. You don't know what's going to happen. You have that opportunity coming up this season, this upcoming season.
What is the thing?
I'll be honest, Gate. I think just to answer your question, I think the way you will determine if they should continue with Jalen Hurts or not, we as fans will not be privy to those type of details. Like to us, we might think, Hurts, he improved, but to us, he didn't really improve that much. Whereas the organization, since they're on the inside, may believe, okay, we're seeing some things that the average fan or even the well-informed fan is not seeing. So with that in mind, for me, I'm just like, I have the most probably casual outlook on both Jalen Hurts and the season. I'm like, hey, whatever, I'm just gonna watch the Birds play, and whatever decision they come up with at the end of the season, I'm content with. They go with him, I'm content with it. They decide to go a different direction, I'm still content with it. So that's just me though.
Well, I was just going to say this. Look, I agree that if you're going to go in with Jalen Hurts, you should give him more than 1 year because it's just the hardest position to play, and you need more time. And especially with everything else being new around him, say Sirianni don't get his stuff going until midseason. If there's injuries, there can always be context. Just like we were talking about context with Carson Wentz for the first 10 weeks until the blinders fully came off. We were just like, yowzer. But at the end of the day, when you look at Jalen Hurts, if we go out and flunk and we win only 2 or 3 games, right? Like if we are bad, well, now you're talking about with the draft picks we have, you know, a guy like Howie Roseman, if he believes in whatever these quarterbacks that are coming out, which I don't have no idea if they're good, bad, ugly, sad, you're going to be in a situation because this is the thing. Now, again, you still got to say, but Jalen Hurts, you know, again, it's how you got to evaluate Jalen Hurts along with the team. Was Jalen Hurts the reason we were losing? Were we in some games because of him? Blah, 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 blah. Because if you only win 3 games and you got the 2 first-round picks and one of them is a top 3 pick and you can move up to 2 or 1 or stay at 3 and get your quarterback still, and then you feel like if you invest that first-round status to get your team good, and now you stay in that middle round where Jalen Hurts ain't the guy, but the team around him so good that you can win games and you never find yourself in that position to draft a quarterback again. And now you always got to say, is there any more teams around the league waiting to give away their franchise, which is normally not the Kirk Cousins, the middle pack, the Ryan Tannehills, they're the ones who get on the table. So we're in a situation now where Hurts I hope he's the future, but if he's not, you got to make your critical decision on him quickly, and you got to think it not just by the record, but by him overall, as Deshaun Watson has one of his best seasons with 4 wins. But in context, he was doing things like, how was he doing it, blah, 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 and that all got to be in consideration. But I'm willing to give Hurts as much time as possible, like you said. But the clock is ticking because of where our draft picks is. If we are a top 5 pick, you got to make moves. You got to make moves.
But Mike, here's what you're missing. Here's what you're missing in addition to not only with the Carson Wentz comparison, but just how the organization is approaching this. They're in the NFL. They're in this. They have their jobs because, of course, they're gonna assess Hurts within context. They're not going to say, "Oh, we went 4 and whatever," and then we're going to get rid of him. Of course, they're going to look at how he played, and again, that's why I mentioned details that we as fans may not be privy to that they may have seen, with their own staff and whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean,
here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Where you're missing though. Jalen Hurts is not Sirianni's guy, so that's the reason why I think he has a very short leash. He's not Sirianni's guy at all. So when I bring up the Carson Wentz comparison, whether it be with how they handled him last season with his bad season, or how Frank Wright handles him in Indianapolis, they have seen what they have seen what they have saw from Carson Wentz from his past seasons. Hurts, real talk, is not. He's a new guy. They have not. Hurts hasn't, to be blunt, to be explicit. Hurts hasn't done anything yet, so they're not going to provide him. You can't draw the comparison to Wentz, and you can't compare. I
didn't even mean to.
No. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying in general. That's the reason why you can see why they're basically they would provide him with a short leash.
Yeah.
Because
this is the last thing I'm going to say.
And combined with him being a second round pick, but
correct.
It's not. Yeah.
The Wentz thing was in there, was saying because we saw the talent before, we kept hoping it was going to come back. That had nothing to do with the whole Jalen Hurts thing. But here's the thing: that's what I'm saying. Yeah. A guy like Gate City is going to be able to see almost as much as a guy in the front office. Maybe a little less, a little more. You can go either way. But what I'm saying is, you can see a quarterback play is trending upwards or is legit, because if people are putting Deshaun Watson in top 5 as he only won 4 games. So you can differ the team and the quarterback play. But what I'm saying is, if this team falls into a top 5 pick, now you have to really consider, was it because of the quarterback or was it because of the team? And you got to be precise with your decision. And we're not going to be privy yet, but guys like Gate City can say, well, listen, I think we only won them 5 games because Jalen Hurts did everything. Our team is trash around them. Or he can say, dang, Jalen Hurts lost us a couple games. We should have won more. And that's where you got to make a decision. What I'm saying is, if we go 8-8, it's different. But if we go 3-13, you really got to be right or wrong on Hurts, because you might find yourself never in the top 5 in the next 3 years, and now you missed your opportunity and you're stuck with Hurts, or the other way. So I'm just saying, if we are a middle-of-the-pack team, evaluate him however you want. But if we are a sucky team, you really got to look at, Hurts the reason or not the reason, because it's for the future, because of what the capital we have next year and the spot we would be in. We might not have 2 first-round picks and be in the top 10 ever again.
Hey, guys, real quick. I got to go put these chickens up, but I'm going to keep the stream going just because I don't want to interrupt the conversation. So just give me a few minutes, all right?
I actually got to go too.
Hey,
Appreciate everybody for having me.
I got to go, man. I actually have to go too, my guy. I got a live here in about 20 minutes, so I appreciate you.
Before you go, let me just bring something up, because I don't think anyone's looking at this aspect. You got to think about our GM, who's on the last year of his contract, and we have a brand new head coach. The thing is, you're going to want to have your team perform, because we don't know if Howard's going to be here next season. So he's going to want to have a good record. If Jalen Hurts can't perform, now we're talking about their jobs, their careers are in Jalen Hurts' hands. A lot of times when push comes to shove, everyone looks out for themselves. So like he mentioned before, Eminem, he said that's not Sirianni's guy, which is correct. So if you only have coach average has 3 years on a team, if you have 3 years and you already have 1 bad season, you got 2 left. Are you going to go into your second season with a guy who already messed up the first one? Probably not. You're going to want to go after your guy. And that's why I say, again, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Jalen Hurts is our future. But again, when you're looking at it, our backs are kind of against the wall. Next season, Hurts doesn't pan out. We need to make a decision, and we need to make them fast. A lot of people won't like them.
Yeah.
So, Vic 3, there's one huge cautionary tale I can tell everybody, and it's 2 separate players on one team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you guys know that Doug Williams was a major quarterback long before he arrived in Washington and won them a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers? And they got into a major argument over contract. He was one of the first African-American quarterbacks to ever start. And it caused a whole rip roar over the salary situation. He ended up going to another league, left the NFL, and came back to Washington later on and won a Super Bowl. That's one cautionary tale. The other cautionary tale was Steve Young, who was going through a coaching change after he had been drafted, didn't play well his sophomore year, his second year in the league, was traded to San Francisco, and then he became a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The Buccaneers dealt 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Like
2 Super Bowl MVPs.
So there you go. Keep Hurts. Appreciate you guys. Hey, Eminem.
Yo, what's up?
I like the logo you did, bro. Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate it.
Peace.
Later, Mike.
Peace out, Mike.
Hey, Gates, I'll see you later, buddy.
I know you got to go soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate all you do, my guy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. All right.
No problem.
Big Play Slay, man. We haven't heard from you. What's up, buddy?
No, what's up? Yeah, I just heard y'all talking about this whole Jalen Hurts thing. It is hard to know because he only played 4 games. It's very hard to determine what type of quarterback he is. But I give him a shot after this year, even if he does bad. If I'm being honest, because if Daniel Jones can get a chance, then I think Hurts should also get a chance because Jones, the first 2 years he played good the first year. He played okay the first year. He could have, took in Baker Mayfield's scoring touchdown record. That was 27. And he could have broke it. So that first year was a good year for him. And in that second year, it wasn't good for him because, some of those offensive playmakers that he was supposed to have weren't there. So I feel like if Hurts doesn't do good this year, put more playmakers around him because you only have Devontae Smith and Rager. Rager, you're banking on his talent. Goddard, you're banking on his talent too. Sanders, he's very talented, but he's been injury prone here and there. He's dealt with some injuries. So I think it's win or lose But I agree with whoever said that. Yeah, I think it was Vic that said Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman's careers are on Jalen Hurts' hand. And I completely agree with that because Hurts doesn't do good these next 2 years, and Laurie's gonna have to look at his coaching staff and his GM to see if those are the correct pieces for his organization.
So,
Yeah,
like, on this question, go ahead.
Yeah.
For you guys, go ahead.
You're good, man. I was just saying it's a good point.
Okay. I was gonna ask you guys, do you really think, no matter what happens this season or the next season, do you ever think that Roseman will ever be on the hot seat? Because I've never, I understand, this past offseason before the draft, a lot of us were calling him for him to be fired. But I'll be honest, I've never gotten a sense that he's ever in danger. Yeah.
I would be shocked. I'll just say that.
I just don't.
I would be shocked. Yeah.
I'll say it like this. I think Howie set the position up to, even if you do fire him, not too many candidates want to take this job. You get what I'm saying? You have a young but old roster at the same time. Young talent is vastly unproven. Old talent is definitely declining on high contracts. You just mentioned it. We only got $2 million of cap space next year. That's not a good look going forward. The 3 first-round picks looks nice, but if you, depending on what you want to do, what that major move is coming next, or if there's a major move, those can be washes. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. He let alligators loose inside of Jeffrey Lurie's office, and then handed him a card that said he was an alligator wrangler. I mean, that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Howie got, what do you want to call it, banished over to the other side of Milbicare Complex for those 2 seasons, when he came back in 2016, he made sure that power would never be able to take him from him again. He, like I said, like you were saying, he made himself be the most needed person on that team. There's no one else that could do what Howie's doing at the moment because he has every title pretty much. Now, the one thing I was thinking is if Lurie is finally at his wit's end with him, it could be a possibility if we did bring a GM, Howie would just move into another position. Say he becomes the president or whatever title you want to give him, where he still has some kind of control, but he has someone else dealing with the day-to-day.
Sure.
The assistant to the owner will be his new position.
Assistant to the regional manager.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all so much, man. I got to get ready to go, guys, because I am long overdue to put these chickens away. Guys, we will be back live tomorrow. Mike and I will. We're still trying to reach out to Reese to see if Reese has the availability. It was kind of a last-minute scheduling. So tomorrow, 6 o'clock, I know Mike and I will be there. Reese might be there as well for the Battlebirds podcast. Vic, Eminem, Jay, Big Play Slay, everybody that tuned in, Mike, everybody that came in, guys. I mean, there's a lot of y'all. I can't even remember everybody. Eagles Uncensored. I mean, there's a ton of y'all that came in. Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know it's greatly appreciated. And, hey, man, I'm able to do this thing because you guys watch. So much appreciated.
Hey, man, you put out good work, and there's a lot of junk out there on YouTube, and you happen to be one of the guys who puts out the good stuff. So we appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate you letting me on. And let me just say something real quick. Tomorrow, everybody tune in to Philly Foothills, AK and myself. We have a new show coming out. Eagles East meets West, 9 p.m. Saturday night, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Come in for some great conversations, some lives, and hopefully, Gate, we could have you on as a guest. I would love it if you would come through.
You think you got a channel?
No channel, man. Like I said, I always say, this game is for the young and hungry. I can't do this on the daily. On the weekends, I can come through for a live. We can discuss Eagles like I did on Tuesday. When I see some idiot post out some crazy-ass reports, I'll be the one to debunk it.
Hey, we're on the same page then.
Jalen.
Yeah.
When we get in that Jalen Williams in-depth analysis channel.
Yeah, Jalen, most definitely. I want you on the show as well, please. I'm serious, man. I would love you on the show as well.
No problem. I can do it. Just let me know.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Like,
man.
I'll say it like this: you'll never get it because my schedule is very inconsistent. Yeah.
Okay, one more thing, Gate. I'll be heading up to Greensboro for an interview. So I'm gonna send you an email about probably different restaurants to try out or whatnot. So look out for that.
I got you, bro. I definitely got you on that one. Yeah, man, I got you. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Hop's Burger Bar. You're gonna hit up Hop's Burger Bar. You want the Battleground location.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all so much once again, guys. Hey, see y'all tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Mike's gonna be here. I already asked him half the questions I had lined up, so I got to come up with new questions. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all, man.
You know,
Right
half
after
the
that,
conversation
tune in to us
is
at 9.
just the comment section coming up with random crazy stuff anyway. You got
Yeah,
content.
comment section
we're
always got
gonna have to free it up, man. We're gonna have to free it up,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
But-
I appreciate you.
Hey, man, have a
All
good
right.
one.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Jalen. Thank you, Vic.